Hi everybody, it's Lawrence. I want to talk to you today and share a little bit about awakening, enlightenment, expansion of consciousness. It's been an interesting week already because, of course, we've had the attacks at the embassies and there's been a lot of drama. And it's a lot of drama about people's definition of God. Now, the challenge with these kinds of definitions is that as soon as I define anything, I put it in a box and I define it, that definition, by definition, means there's something outside of that box and there's a border that has to be defended. That's the issue with religious thinking in general. Why I bring this up today is because what I want to explain is how the idea of God, the idea, the form, the mask of God, ends up being a human attempt to overlay on the infinite expanse of consciousness. And this is the dilemma. You know, people, it's funny because as my consciousness has awakened, and it's been over 10 years now, many people have called me an atheist, which always makes me laugh because really what I'm sharing is beyond atheist. Atheist means not God. And not God, if I have the frame of not God, or the box of not God, that means I'm against something that is God. And both of those positions are essentially opposite sides of the coin. I'm arguing not something which is by definition calling into existence the other thing. And really, when I look at the insanity of what God causes, it really leads me back and is essential to share with you just what it is if you dropped the idea of God. Because God is a mask. God is all faces of God, all the masks of God, all of the stories of God are all ways in which we humans try to put a finite box around the infinite. And it's the infinite expanse of consciousness, of the brain, of the universe that we try to put a form around, because it's really challenging for the human brain, the unenlightened brain, if you will, the brain that is still in all the forms and boxes. It's very challenging to step out of that and really just be in the openness and in that universal flow. So those of you that are listening, I would really invite you to just play the game of dropping the form, neither this nor that, neither this God nor that God. I mean, that really ends up being a fight about, you know, my God's better than your God. My God's better than yours. And I think that if we just can begin to understand that those are all expressions of God that we understand as humans are really just an attempt to put a frame or a face around the infinite, to step down the infinite into something that we humans feel comfortable managing. And of course, when you step it down small enough, which the more radical one's thinking is about religion, the more stepped down it is, right? It gets to the point where we're, you know, our little band of thinking, our world is this big and we're just peering out this little hole and everything outside of that hole is evil. That's what happens when you get into these really fundamentalist perspectives. So I would invite you today to really just notice that when you're looking at those images, flags burning, people going crazy, embassies under attack, to understand that that's what that really is about these very, it's the box of fundamentalism, that box is so narrow and the world is so frightening and it is so not open that it really needs to be defended in this, in extremes, very violent ways. And of course, this applies to everything. This is nothing to do with, this religion or that religion. All religions do the same thing because they have to step down and box and give definition to the infinite. And part of stepping out of enlightening, sort of stepping into the enlightening of the brain and the consciousness and the being, is to begin to just notice, like when you're seeing all that violence and all that viciousness and tension and fear, to realize that that's what happens when we believe so firmly in the form of God. We get so lost in the form that we really lose track of consciousness and awareness, and we lose the opportunity to really awaken to our true, authentic, open, vulnerable nature. So I invite you to take a breath and just see if you can feel into that intimate, open, infinite space. Even if you can only savor just a little piece of the flavor, you're beginning to taste something that is beyond the form and the format. And this is a very, very, very empowered and powerful place to live. I'll see you soon. Keep resting your consciousness in awareness and in peace.